Hello, Cherie Hanson here. I've been mulling over in my mind what reading has meant to me in my life. And I think it's just amazing when I look back and I see what reading has done for me. We talk about the reticular activation system, which means that you see what you already believe. We identify with things outside of ourselves as true. And to get into a place where we are willing to be like an Arctic explorer, just setting out on what looks like nothing horizon, not expecting anything, not expecting to arrive at anything. And what happens then is that when we do experience something, we only see later that it was on purpose to grow us. Because when something hits us, when an event hits us in our lives, it's going to go down one of two chutes. One is going to be victim mode, triggered, terrified, fighting back, feeling like we need anger or a burning torch to deal with it. And the other one is to go into a state of mindfulness. And mindfulness grows from reading, meditating, and learning to build ourselves up inside. When I first found reading was when I was quite young, and I was drawn to tales of heroism. I would find true stories about one, for instance, was a 14-year-old girl that went across the prairies in a wagon, and she had her parents both were killed, and she was in a stressful situation, but she found her way out of it. And so for me, that idea that when something hits you, you can be self-reliant and you can rise above the situation was something that I consciously was imprinting on my neural pathways the entire time I was growing up. I read about Marie Curie. I read about female leaders, female warriors, female spiritual people, but not just females as well. I also came across a PBS special the other day where they showed us the cell that Mandela inhabited for 7 years. And it was cement, and he had a few blankets folded on the floor, and he had a bucket, and there was a bowl. Now, this is a man who spent that time in that cell, focused on who he was becoming. When you look at the Dalai Lama, when you look at Mandela, when you look at St. Francis, when you look at really heroic people, the thing that is mirroring back to me is how I feel is my choice. Do I want to have this experience that I'm going through grow me as a person? Do I want to have this experience that I'm going through victimize me? And all these biographies that I read, all these autobiographies that I read were on the same theme. They were on people who were living intentionally. And what I mean by that is they knew who they wanted to become. They absolutely knew it in their bones. And I think that's one of the things that is really very much what we're going through right now. We look around us and we see so many people who are fragmented, fractured, frightened, and they are just vibrating with this high anxiety energy. But if we have a mindfulness practice or a grounding, what we can constantly do is let go. And I mean by this, it's very easy for me to hate people. It's very easy for me to find other people's actions to be somehow a conspiracy. They're all getting together and they're doing this on purpose. No, they're not. They are being triggered. They are in a state where they are choosing to be angry, to be victims. And I am so grateful to my younger self that I spent so much time vicariously living in other people's lives. There was always a lesson there. There was a lesson about maintaining your ethics or your heartfulness or your desire to treat other people with compassion and love. And constantly the lesson is coming into me over and over again. And this is what happens in my brain when it happens. I can feel myself like somebody's lighting my trigger, like they got that fire and they're trying to put it on my trigger. And it's so easy to just let that burn up the wick and put you in an explosive state of mind. It's a different thing to say to yourself, I'm being triggered right now. How do I choose to feel? And one of the practices I use, which helps me a lot, is if somebody is triggering me by something they're doing or saying, what I do is I step back and I think about that person and I think about how many kind things they've done in their lives. How many times they pulled a blanket around a baby or, helped a neighbor or done something really supportive for family or friends. And I have to do this. I have to interfere with the process. I have to defuse the process. So the thing I keep coming back to is you cannot make me hateful. I don't care what you're doing. I am not going to be dragged into a position of hating you or being angry with you or seeing myself as a victim, seeing myself as fighting for my survival. The only thing that I am fighting for in my life is mindfulness. So constantly the lessons come in, constantly the opportunities come in to go, oh, I feel like I should be angry with you right now, but I don't want to be. Where I want to go is to see you as a fellow human being who's having a struggle and who is really frightened. So I'm constantly, over and over and over again, every day, just removing that reaction, that gut reaction of anger and fear. And the thing that it does for me, because I've read so many books about people who have been able to stay in a place of their best self. And this is the secret. No matter what was happening outside of them, they were grounded, they were at home in their bodies, and they were living with intention. And it's a struggle. I go through it every day, but basically, I'm very proud that I have been able to so many times not just become hateful or angry or frightened. So thank you, reading. Thank you for the choices I made through my life of finding heroes. And that's what most people would really benefit from. Find your heroes. Find the people that are living in a way that lifts your heart and that makes you feel that this is a greater path. This is a kinder path. Read about them, put their pictures up, watch videos, get those heroes in front of your eyes so you can really focus on who you want to be. Thank you.